Fortnite recently added tweak zones, and almost every video you've seen about them gets something wrong or misses something important, including mine. Here are the two big ones. 0% does not mean tweak zones are off, and tweak zones are completely dependent on dead zones. And if you don't understand how to set them, using this setting will absolutely ruin your game. But used correctly, it's actually OP. So today we're doing a deep dive into dead zones and tweak zones. I'll show you how they actually work, how to set them up for aim, and how to set them up for mechanics, and the exact settings I settled on after weeks of testing. Save this now because you're 100% gonna wanna come back to this when you're setting these up. But before we jump into tweak zones, you've gotta understand dead zones, because tweak zones are built directly on top of your dead zones. Fortnite defines a dead zone as the area around your stick where the game ignores your input. Most players hear that and think, lower must be better as long as I don't get stick drift. Wrong, kinda. Dead zones do counter stick drift, but more importantly, they stabilize your crosshair. And why does that matter? Because tiny corrections are what makes tracking possible. Your micro adjustments become easier, and your crosshair stops being overly reactive. And for tweak zones to work properly, your dead zones have to be dialed in first. As you can see here, dead zones start at 5% and go all the way up to 95. The higher the setting, the more stick movement Fortnite ignores before your crosshair starts moving. For linear players, somewhere around 11 to 14 gives you the best balance between responsiveness and control. But expo players generally keep this lower. My right stick dead zone is 13, and you can see my tracking is both smooth and consistent. Once your dead zones feel good, then we can finally jump into tweak zones. Tweak zone activation just controls if and when to use tweak zones. Pretty simple, but the sliders aren't as clear. The tweak zone slider controls how far away Fortnite tries to help you. The higher the value, the farther your target can be from the crosshair and still get pulled towards it. Tweak offset controls the strength of that pull. The higher the offset, the more aggressively Fortnite adjusts your crosshair once that target is inside of your tweak zone. Now here's the part almost everyone gets wrong. Even at 0%, tweak zones are still active. Yeah, a tweak zone value of 0 does not mean there's no tweak zone. It only means that your tweak zone extends 0% beyond your dead zone. So at 0%, tweak zones are only active inside your dead zone. As you increase the tweak zone slider, you're increasing how far beyond the edge of your dead zone Fortnite is gonna try and help. So 0% means the help stays inside your dead zone. 15% means Fortnite starts grabbing your target from a little bit farther away. But this is where things can go wrong, because the settings that feel good for aim are shit for mechanics. For aim, I'd start around 15% tweak zone and roughly 1.2 to 1.4 for tweak offset. That gives you noticeable help without making your crosshair feel totally out of control. And for zero build players, this is for you. But builds are a completely different story. Too much tweak zone makes building and editing feel impossible. Your crosshair starts moving when you don't expect it, your edits feel less precise, and your builds get really sloppy and spammy. So for mechanics, I'd keep your tweak zone much lower, somewhere around 4 to 7, with your offset around 3. Less range, more strength. Basically, I don't want Fortnite moving my crosshair too much. I only need a little help when I'm already close. And therein lies the problem. What's best for aim sucks for mechanics, and the other way around. So until Fortnite gives us separate sliders, you kind of have to pick. So what do I use? Well, my aim's already pretty good. And to be honest, I find the moving crosshair distracting. But one of my biggest weaknesses is panic edits. So I use tweak zones for edit only. I had builds turned on for a while too, but eventually turned them off. Made my crosshair placement feel sloppy, and my builds felt spammy. Now I miss way fewer edits under pressure, because my settings are balanced for me. So remember this. Dial in your dead zones first, then set up your tweak zones, keeping in mind not to turn them up too much. You can't just crank everything up to 11 because more's gotta be better. If you set these up wrong, you're literally cucking yourself. So like and follow for more Fortnite tips, and send this to your duo right now. They probably got these wrong too.